Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Wow, an excited intro for kind of a subdued video. What are we gonna do today? We're gonna review some of the practice that I've done this week in the live streams. You know, that just means going through some highlights. You're gonna hear some music for sure. And before that, I'm gonna answer some comment questions, so you know, if you've been leaving comments, perhaps one will get answered today. Yeah, but before we do that, let's not jump right into it. Let's make a little bit of small talk first. Ooh. Let me get my friend back. I don't know if you guys knew this, but grad school is starting soon. I feel like I always mention that. I don't know, it's exciting. I'm gonna be getting to it. I'm gonna have my nose in the books. It's still dubious how I'm going to be juggling all the things that I already do in my life. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, but to prepare for that, I've been practicing a lot. I've been averaging 3 hours a day or so, and most of that is shown on the live stream. I mean, like, some of it. I still practice away from the live stream a bit, but a lot of it's done on the live stream. And Lobe de Trennen, the Mertz transcription of that Schubert tune, that's basically done. I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like it's basically done now. I know I've said this before. I feel like I mean it this time. And you know what? In a month from now, it's going to be really basically done. That's how good I feel about it. And I don't know. I feel like the Fugue to 1001, I've been working on it for years, right? And it is, I feel, reaching places it's never reached before. And I'm able to play it with a sort of command that I'm not really used to on the guitar. Like, it feels like it's approaching something really special, which is really nice to see. Because again, I've been working on it since the start of this channel. And it's just nice to see actual progress still be made on it. Of course, the Prelude to 997 and the Fugue as well. I'm working on all that. And that's pretty much it for the music right now. I might start something new, but also the Prelude and Fugue has me pretty busy. Maybe I'll learn some stupid little Giuliani piece or something. I don't know. Maybe a Carcassi study. I don't know. Something like that could be interesting. Yeah. What are you working on? How are things going with you? Hope you're doing well. We're coming up on the end of an era right now because I'm going to be moving out of this apartment pretty soon. That's happening August 7th. I'm going to be moving. And if you guys remember, really early on, I used to do these things called extravaganzas where I would pick a video topic and maybe react to a few videos, usually just one video. I would play the music that I'm working on really crappily between, because this was like way before any of my music was ever prepared. It was just like a practice extravaganza, I guess. I plan on doing a legit extravaganza on a very special video that I've reacted to before that I think is sort of not really the cornerstone of this channel anymore, but is honestly the heart and soul of this channel. I'm not going to say what video it is, but you might be able to guess what it is. But I plan on doing for the first time in over a year, I think, an actual extravaganza. And I'll do it in the old style and a mix of the new style, of course. And it'll have some playing in it that's live right there, and you'll just kind of see where I'm at with everything. And I'll probably post that like as I'm moving, honestly, and the videos after that will just be in the new set, new style video. I'll just be another whitewashed, run-of-the-mill reaction content maker. Yeah, you know, I plan on just moving away from music. I'm just gonna react to like TikTok trends and like dating shows and stuff. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. It'll always be music. There's so much music content to react to. All these freaking guitars. All these electric guitar losers that need a little spanking sometimes. So, you know, the role I play in society will continue, and I will continue playing that role. So I don't know. It's not for another month or so, but it is sad to think about. Or I mean, God, less than a month. It's July 11th as I film this right now. August 7th is the move out. Anywho, that is certainly enough small talk for this one. I say we get into some comment questions, and then I'm going to play some stuff for you, and then we're going to call it a day after that. So, let's get to it. This isn't a question at all, but this is a compliment that I got, and it actually reminds me of something that I kind of want to just say. I don't want to like talk about it or anything, but I guess I do in a sense. But this one's from Patrick Jazz Guitar Bro. Very nice username. And you said, and this is a comment that you left on my GFA reaction video. Go and watch that, by the way. I'm not trying to stake my guitar professional career on a video that doesn't even get that many views, so go please watch that video. It's a great way to get a taste of the GFA, but not too much of a taste, and you also get me, like, you know, talking my crap on it. But you said, okay, you made it fun. Isn't that unclassical? I wouldn't have watched this much if you didn't make it fun. Thanks. Yeah, and That's a really interesting point with music in general. Of course, like I said, I'm going to university. I've also been to university for my undergrad, and I've met professors and I've met people in general. And you can even hear this in like Bernstein lectures. Like whenever you watch a Bernstein lecture and he's talking to children, he has this one thing where he's about to play the William Tell overture. I think it is that. And he says, don't think of any like stories or anything, but just try to enjoy the music for music's sake.
People tell you stories about what music means. Forget them. Stories aren't what music means about at all. Music is never about anything. Music just is. Music is notes, beautiful notes and songs put together in such a way that we get pleasure out of listening to them. That's all there is to it.
Which is cool. Like, of course, you want to be able to do that. That's like a goal in your musicianship. But being introduced to something like classical music with some kind of story, and even being introduced to something like the GFA, if that's maybe not something that you would watch, having the, like me, as maybe a familiar character to you to sort of like make your way through it, and you trust that I'm not going to make it like too serious. Maybe you like that, I don't know. I think that that can be a really powerful way to introduce somebody into something that's typically unapproachable and dense. And there's tons of professors and people that I've met in academia who hate that idea. And there's people in all kinds of subjects that hate that idea. There's people in like the diet world that think you should be able to eat fruit without putting Splenda on it. And I say if it takes putting Splenda on the fruit to actually eat the fruit, the important part is that you're eating fruit. I don't care if you're eating Splenda on top of it. The point is to consume the music, and sometimes an introduction to it that's familiar, like a story about something, can make it so much easier to stomach. After a while, you just build associations with the music itself, and you won't even think about the story anymore. Examples of this. What are the most famous classical concerts that people go to nowadays? It's the Pops movie soundtrack video game concerts. And the reason why is because we have stories to attach to it, and it's so easy for just regular people to consume kind of dense music if there's some kind of story with it. Even in my own experience, I lived in a city, I'll just say the name of the city, it was Charlotte, North Carolina. I lived there for a year. I wasn't gigging or anything, don't get excited, I was just being a loser. But while I was there, I also got a year-long season pass to the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra, or Philharmonic, or whatever it's called. And I listened to a lot of great music there. Admittedly, I skipped a couple of showings because, you know, sometimes they weren't playing stuff that was that interesting. But for the ones that were really interesting, like for example, and this is what my story is about, Elgar Cello Concerto. And that's a concerto that I'm pretty familiar with, so I was excited to see that. But before the concert actually started, the conductor came out and just gave some info about Elgar and about, I think it was World War I. Let me look that up really quick. Yeah, okay, the AI overview, composed in 1919, is a somber work reflecting the profound impact of World War I on the composer and British society. After hearing that, and then hearing like the high-strung cello do that super long melody, it hit so hard. Even for someone like me who was familiar with the work, it just added something to it, and it just made it really fun to listen to. You can be a really high-level musician or a high-level listener, and you can put the expectation on other people to consume what you consume just for the sake of consuming it and no other associations. But I think that people who do that probably have their own associations that are just not stories that can be told with words. It's associations of experience and knowing, if that makes any sense. So I don't know, when it comes to unaccessible music like classical, when it comes to competitions like the GFAs, I think injecting some kind of story to sensationalize it a little bit can be kind of cool for just getting eyeballs on it. I don't know, just a little rant about that. Not a question at all. One of my greatest abilities is creating questions out of non-questions. Have you ever noticed that? It's too bad there's no competition for doing that, because I would win. Okay, this is a good one, sort of in the same vein, but this is from Bruno Clock. He said, "Hey Cameron, thanks for addressing me by my name. I appreciate that. It sounds like you read The Art of Making Friends and Enemies, or whatever that book is. You know what I'm talking about? The Art of Making Friends and Acquaintances. For losers and idiots. Do you think it is viable to play classical guitar laying on one's right leg in horizontal position?" I'm picturing that, and I'm imagining you laying down and laying the... Well, never mind. I know what you mean, though. You're talking about playing the guitar like a cowboy, instead of playing guitar like a fancy man, like you should. The classical position is a bit uncomfortable for me. Good. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to make everyone else uncomfortable, too, with its snootiness. That's a good attitude to have. I'm not either. Just starting out and playing and practicing for pleasure. That kind of brings me to my first point, Sort of. Like, when it comes to just making things more accessible, do I think it's better to practice guitar in a cowboy position than to just not practice guitar at all? Yeah, obviously, of course. And in fact, if you're not planning on doing guitar competitions or studying guitar in university, or even have a classical teacher, and if your goals are just to have fun and learn classical music, I say play guitar however you want. You know, as long as you're able to do the stuff that you want to do, that's fine. I don't see any issue with that. And I would say that even playing guitar in that position, your dexterity is about where it would be. Like, I can play through most of my music in that position. The only reason I don't play in that position, because I would, because it looks freaking baller when you do that. I don't play like that because after 20 minutes, my shoulder will start to hurt. I literally can't play like that for too long. And even the way that I play now, which is with a footstool on the second notch, it'll hurt my leg, and it'll make my leg feel weird, and it'll make my back sort of like hurt a little bit. But my shoulders can be very like just relaxed and low and level. And my neck is also not in a weird like crane position that I feel like can happen when you're on your leg like that. But I also practice for 3 hours minimum a day. Really, I should use one of the apparatuses that I have, like the guitar lift or the ergo sphere. Footstool is nice, it's stable. It also looks cool too. If you're not practicing long hours, I see no reason why you can't play like that. If it starts to hurt, I would maybe consider getting a ergo play or using something else. And in fact, I played guitar long before I played classical guitar. When I was 11 was when I started with electric guitar. For the first 5 years of my electric guitar playing, I played like that too. I would not be nearly as good at guitar had I just decided to not practice like that for those first 5 years. That's where I like built up all my scale chops and stuff. Later on, when I was 17 or so, I switched to the middle position. I played a Les Paul at the time, so I actually played a Les Paul classical position before I ever even thought about playing classical guitar, which is kind of funny. I was pretty into shred stuff. I actually had an Yngwie Malmsteen phase, believe it or not, and a Nuno Bettencourt phase. So, you know, it's playing that stuff, it helps to be in a more classical position. But yeah, you know, do whatever you want, ultimately. The only time that's really going to matter is if you're in a competition or if you're specifically studying in university, like actively. Have you already studied in university? You don't have to play like that anymore. And I only say that because if your university professor is cool with you playing like that, find a different professor. I want my professor to be strict, snooty, snobby. I want him to be all that stuff because he's a professor. He's not my friend. He's not my guitar loser buddy. I want him to, you know, oppress me. Oppress me, professor, please. I'm gonna show you some highlights of the latest stream, probably. I think I played some pretty good stuff in that one. So you're gonna see that, and then we're gonna go right to the outro, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. So, I'll see you on the other side. Suck on that, haters. Whoa, sounding pretty good, right? Not too bad. It's been daily practice. That's been going really well. I look forward to another week of doing that. Yeah, so if you want to catch that, be sure to join the live stream. There's a lot of really cool people in there. I feel the warmth of the Sore Hands community in there, so that's really cool. Heather will be there too. She's playing Stardew Valley in some of them, so whenever she's around, she will be doing that while I play guitar. Yeah, it's just fun. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. So of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like, all that stuff. Leave a comment, tell me how your practice is going. This is a practice log after all. I'm probably going to start taking on some students pretty soon, a couple of weekly full-time students. So, you know, if you want to be on the waiting list, just send me an email and send me some details about where you are and what you want. Of course, Rootin's Delight, head on down over there if you want some honest merch. Yeah, I don't know. This is a simple one. It's a practice log. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. There's been, you know, things have been cool. Yeah. End of an era coming. It's gonna be interesting, but still a lot of videos before then. So stay tuned. Whoa, what's gonna happen next? What's tomorrow gonna be about? Oh my god, or the next day if I skip tomorrow. I'll see you in the next one.